Hey, what's up, everybody? Sean here, host of the Sensibly Cynical podcast. Welcome to another On the Come Up interview, this time with singer, songwriter, and producer Blusty. I'm going to see if I can't bring him on right now. Blusty, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling.
All right, so we'll talk about your music career. Let's just get to it. When did you start in the game, man?
So when I was in like third grade, I wrote my first song, and it was called "I Hate You, Girl," and I was gonna like finish the song after school with my friend. The teacher found it. It like fell out of my folder, and she's like, "Who's this about? Like, is this like, do you need to talk? Is it good?" And I'm like, "Oh no, like it's good." And I didn't start writing music and like taking it professionally until my senior year of high school. I put like my first song out on SoundCloud.
Right. Now I listened to like 3 or 4 of your hits, I guess, on SoundCloud, and I gotta say, man, you give me Aaron Carter. Do you know who that is?
I actually don't know who that is. Yeah.
Okay, look him up. Look him up. You give me Aaron Carter vibes.
All right.
That makes me seem old when you said you don't know who he is. But look him up. You give me kind of Aaron Carter type of vibes. Now let's dive into an actual like song, Hotel Lobby. Like, what was the origin behind that one?
So Hotel Lobby was the first song I put out on Spotify. That was like my song. I was featured on it. It was mine. And it was this idea, like, I just do a lot of thinking. I'm kind of an overthinker, and I was like, man, what if I don't do well in music? What if I don't end up where I want to be? And what if, I kind of go down this darker path, and I end up like, my friends are successful and they kind of find me. That story was like, I've found refuge in a hotel lobby. I don't have anywhere else to go. And my friend comes up to me and like asks me if I'm okay and like helps me out. It's kind of the darker side of if things don't work out well.
Right. So it's kind of a relationship kind of vibe, or like a club song.
Man, so it's funny because I always thought of it as just like, oh, I'll chill, I'll play this, with the windows down and things like that. But people that kind of play it at parties and they all hear it and they'll be like,
yeah.
I think of it as a song. I think it just depends on like what people can sing along to.
So when was that? When did you start, releasing these? Because I saw Hotel Lobby, Drama. Was that all around the same time?
Ooh, so not this previous spring, but the one before it, I had done. I was opening for Jason Derulo, and I had no music out. And
right.
I should probably put music out because I did this. I was doing performances, but people can't go and listen to it. So I dropped Hotel Lobby and All Alone at the same time. So it's only been about a year and a half that I've been putting it out.
Right. So you said you opened for Jason Derulo. Do you have any good stories from getting started in the industry, man?
From getting started in the industry, I mean, it's funny because like I'm not used to having people like know me, but I don't know them. So when I first met I met this guy. I was going like rock climbing with my college, and he's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to meet you in person," and I didn't even register it. I was like, "Why?" Like, just music and things like. I didn't even think about it. That there were like people that knew about me that I didn't know, but.
When you first started getting like notice from people, what was your reaction? Like,
I was terrified to put songs out, and I put a song out, and I used to use this distribution platform, and I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to like.
Oh, of course.
Like, am I allowed to swear? I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
Oh yeah. You can swear. I mean, I don't care.
It fucked up everything, and it didn't like drop. It wanted the like title of the song and the artist in the album artwork.
Yeah.
I can't do that with anything. So I had to. It only dropped on SoundCloud, and I was like, oh, I think this is gonna be so bad. But I did a performance the same night for like 100 people. It was pretty small, but it was outside, and I really enjoyed it. And that's when I had people come up to me afterward. They're like, "Oh, this is super dope. Like, I really like this."
Yeah.
And that's when I started to get a little more confident, to feel good about what I was doing.
Back in the day, like before SoundCloud and stuff, like I'm not going to say how old I am, but anyways, I remember these things called CDs. Now, those things are around now. I mean, they're around, but you know what I mean? They're not like as commonplace. So keep me up to date, Blusty. How do people like get noticed now? Do they hand out do they send, samples of SoundCloud music? Like, what's the method nowadays?
That's a tough one. I feel like that's the code everyone's trying to crack. I mean, social media, there's certain things that do better than others. Like Instagram right now, that's like all Instagram wants you to post. That's the big algorithm thing. TikTok posts like daily, but you gotta really post every single day, and that's something I've been trying to develop. But I think like also doing shows and just like doing shows opening for artists that are bigger than you, because then people associate you with them and they're like, oh, maybe he's got something going on,
Right. Because I had Spencer Kane and Caleb LeDuc on the podcast, and he was saying, like, Caleb was saying, yeah, he just had his manager slide into Spencer's like DMs. But I mean, it's true. And Spencer, has a following with Anthem Lights, but and I get that, like, not like you're clout chasing, but I'm just saying, like, you're trying to get to that next level. And, there's certain people that are more helpful than others. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, also, like, every artist is out here clout chasing. Like, that's just...
I mean, I didn't want to be like that, dog, but...
So some people are more helpful than others. So I've been working with Audio Media, which is a label out of New York City. And I'm not signed or anything, but I met them through a songwriters club, and some of their managers and things I kept in contact with. And I feel like people in the industry can be helpful, and like they've been super helpful. But there are other artists who I've talked to who have been bigger, who have just not been as helpful. I feel like talking to like booking agents, managers, things like that is more helpful than talking to other artists, because when artists all have their specific brand and their way of doing things. So if you want someone who can work with multiple people and things like that, I also think just like asking your friends, like, what do you want? Or like responding to DMs, like, okay, did you like this? What did you not like about this? Because it's about the people that listen to the music.
Right. Now, you can plead the fifth and to this next question. I don't care. But how did the name Blusty start?
Yeah, so my full name is Evan Blust. And it was like 7th grade, and my track field coach called me Blusty. And it was just something that I was like, I've never had a nickname, because like Evan Blust, like where do you go with the nickname from there? It's not like you can really shorten it or anything. And people called me that for a while, and then it got to the point where I was gonna release music, and I was with my group of friends, and I was like, hey, can we release this under Blusty? Like, are you guys cool with that? And like, yeah, like, it sounds different and everything. And people like know my full name and realize like it came from my last name, which I think is hilarious too.
Yeah, exactly. And we got some commenters. Sensibly Cynical and Blusty. That's what's up. Do you know any of these? Like, do you know these people, or are they just fanboys?
No. These are all, so like I try and stay up to date with my Instagram.
Like, who do you got like as an inspiration? Like, what keeps you going? Like, you know what I mean?
Inspiration. I mean, okay, if we're talking like musical inspiration, when I first started writing music, there was this artist, Goody Grace. I'd recommend everyone to look him up. His voice is what got me. Like, he wrote these songs where he would sing over like a trap beat, and that's the first I had heard that, like, pop kind of over the trap style, and I was like, oh, I really like this. I really fuck with this. Blackbear. I always like Blackbear. I feel like he's very relatable.
Right, I'm a big EDM. He's kind of got into the EDM. Yeah, I like Blackbear. Dirty Laundry, you heard that one?
Dirty Laundry is so good. I went through a phase where I was talking to some toxic. So Blackbear
I
was.
used to play that song all the time at like work. I had an old job. I was doing like an overnighter, and I would go around and be like playing like In My Dirty Lawn, and all my friends were like, "What the fuck?"
No, it's good. He only blew up. I want to say he only blew up because of Hot Girl Bummer, like 2.5 years ago now, whatever. If staying on inspiration, I tend to write songs mostly about like my relationships. It's just kind of like the artists that I listened to when I was younger. That's what they did. You know, that's to me music, a way to like relate to them and feel like, okay, like I'm not the only one having this experience. I'm not the only one having this luck. I feel like also just relationships and then some emotions. I think it's hard to just write about an emotion without talking about an event.
Well, give me a list of artists, man. Like, what's in your playlist right now?
Right now, what's in my playlist? Oh, this girl just showed me this song called "So Pretty," and I cannot tell you the artist. I forgot, but it's I've been listening to a lot of Tory Lanez. I absolutely love Tory Lanez. I got the Chicks Tape 5. Like,
nice, man. That shit's fire, bro.
Yeah.
Well, this is the third interview, like on the Come Up series. How I started this was, I was like, you know what? I interview a lot of, I don't know if you've listened to the podcast, but I interview a lot of musicians. And I was like, you know what? A lot of them started, you know, like similarly, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a series where I interview like people that just started or whatever, you know what I mean? That's like a platform. And you fit that. I mean, your songs are awesome, man. I just want to give you, you know, props on, you know, the game, man. You're doing well for yourself, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do see a lot of artists start to think, like, I feel like you got to drop your first song on SoundCloud. It's horribly mixed. It's recorded on a laptop in your room. Like you think it's so fire, and then like 3 days later, you're like, man, I got to take this down. This is bad. I can do it. Take like a year and a half to actually put a mixed, mastered song out. You get like really picky about it.
Hey, man, I interviewed Emily Gabriel. I think y'all would look her up.
Emily Gabriel. I'll write that down as well.
Yeah, she's from New York City, but it's Gabriel with an E at the end. So Gabriele. And I think y'all could put together like, you know, legit. Like she's kind of like not a cappella, but she's like you know, acoustic kind of thing.
Yeah. I've been trying to write more acoustic songs that have unreleased right now that I've at least performed. I like to perform them and just kind of like they're a good like sit down in between some of the more upbeat songs, take a breath, drink some water, acoustic song.
Do you feel like people resonate with the more like acoustic songs? Like it's like a one-on-one conversation with like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when I was younger, I would like the ones that spoke to you like indirectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've released a lot of like happier music recently, but I write a lot of sad music. My sad songs have done the best. And I find that not everyone's happy, but at least everyone has a little bit of sadness. Everyone has something that's going on, whether it be like super stressing them out, or they just like don't have that girl, or it's like a whole array of things, right? But everyone's got some sadness, so I think that's why sad songs do so well. Really, just get in your bag and feel good about yourself.
Well, yeah, we're coming out of the pandemic and everything like that. And I feel like that period really like changed the game as far as, you know, you had to stand out more. Like podcasting has become really, really difficult to push through because I forgot the data, but like podcasts like doubled because people were staying at home. I feel like the same thing with like music. Like it's harder to differentiate people from themselves because, you know, of course, auto-tune. So Do you feel that's the case, especially post pandemic, or and really before then, that it's harder to break free?
Man, that's it. It's hard because people had a lot of time on their hands and they realized, like,
Right.
I can do this too. And I think that's kind of a poor way to get into something, is to think like I can do it too. Like you gotta enjoy it, and you can tell. You can tell who enjoys it and who really has a good time with it. But
Right.
I do think it is harder to stand out. It's very saturated market. Even when like you think of when SoundCloud came out. I'm gonna talk about blackbear a little bit because obviously, like, he's one of my inspirations, one of my favorites. He blew up on SoundCloud. He was one of the first artists to like really do well. And now, like, you don't hear as much about artists blowing up on SoundCloud. You hear about like some remixes and things, like the Big Booty remix, stuff like that. But to be original is, I think you just got to be yourself. Like, stop trying to. My advice to people, stop trying to like put a brand to yourself and just be yourself, because that's what your brand is. That's how you're going to be authentic you.
Yeah. Do you feel like TikTok has kind of became a platform?
TikTok has become a platform, but it's hard. I think it's a lot harder than people understand too, because you can post a song that you put hours and hours into and get
Right.
that comments, get like 4 likes on one dude that comments mid, and you're like, oh, that's cool, but like you got to
Yeah.
every single day. You got to catch the algorithm. People like Nick D did really well. He caught the algorithm early on, when it was kind of like that. Every video was random, but now you have to show TikTok loyalty. It's very loyal to people that post often. It likes people that use the app, which is like understandable as a business.
Yeah, the algorithm, I feel like people they think they understand it, and then TikTok will throw them for a loop. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's like, so I actually study digital marketing at college, and the algorithms are constantly changing. The main thing, newest feature app ads, you got to use it. So that's why Instagram Reels are big, because that's the newest feature that Instagram added. So it wants you to stay on the app longer too, right? So you get an Instagram Reel, you're watching a video, you're not just liking a photo, you're engaged.
And it's loop, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, attention spans have gotten kind of shorter too. So that's why these, like, I forgot what it is, but it's like 15 seconds. Or if something doesn't hook you in like 10 or 15 seconds, then it's a wrap. They'll like swipe.
It's like, well, TikTok, it's the first like 2 seconds of the video.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is insane, because it used to be like Vine was 7-second videos, right? So Vine was cool because you didn't have to worry about making a bigger video, but now you have like TikTok gives you the option to make a bigger video, so you're like, but I make a longer, and it's just like people really don't care. That's what you gotta. People don't care unless they think that you're the same person. Like, I feel like a lot of my friends will listen to artists and be like, "That's who I am." Like when Drake said that, whatever, big generic example, but like when Drake said that, I felt that I'm the same. They want to feel that way.
So let's talk about your most recent song, Tease, that came out beginning of the year. What's the story behind that one?
So I have one song that I released more recently than that, but I would love to talk about Tease because.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. You can, yeah. Let's talk about Tease.
Yeah, no worries. I love talking about Tease, anyways. So I wrote it last summer. I was in this kind of toxic relationship with this girl I met on like Tinder of all places, and I woke up to this text from her, and it was like a mirror selfie that said "I'm lonely," and I was like, I don't know, just like I was like, okay, cool. So my producer FaceTimed me later in the day, prop by Dylan, and he's like, "Yo, I have this loop. Sent me a loop." And I sang over the loop, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what to write with this. I'm like, wake me up in the morning, tell me that you're lonely. And I was like, kind of writing about that relationship with her. I got into more detail throughout the song. It was just about a text I received, though, like really.
You're like, all right, this is cool. Let's just go with it. Is a lot of your songs like that, like spontaneous?
Yeah, I find it in the past, I found it harder to write songs in the moment and what I'm feeling in the moment. Like All Alone was about a girl that I was stuck on for a while, and I couldn't write all
Right.
until I was kind of over her, because I feel like you can, like, hindsight's 2020. You can really see the story that happened, the emotions you went through. Recently,
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing a lot more songs in the moment, and I'll just like
Mm-hmm.
drink and I'll just kind of relax. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. I'll skip really quickly through loops,
Right.
like through melodies in my head, until like I get that magic, the butterflies, or I'm like, okay, this is gonna be crazy. I gotta work with this.
Yeah, how's the party scene up there, man? I haven't been to New York, but and besides the city, like, is that a misnomer? Like, people think that, oh, it's just the city. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, how's the scene up there?
It is not. It is not the city. I mean, Syracuse too.
Oh, so you're saying it's right then that it's only good in the city.
Oh nah, I was talking. So I know some people up kind of in like the Adirondack region that are in like really,
Yeah.
and they will get tons of people together and just like burn a mattress in the woods. And when
What?
burning, the party's over, and they just burn it, and you're like, go. It's better in cities because you get more people, you get like the clubs and things like that. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
the college scene's really good. I can't lie. So
Yeah, when I was in college in Florida, man, like that was back in the day, man. But I like if you were, I went to UCF in Orlando, and dude, if you were an athlete at the school I went to at UCF, bro, you got like VIP bottles, like they is that like that up there too? Like if you're known, you get to hook up.
I mean,
No, you don't gotta disclose your secrets, bro. You don't got to.
so I didn't think it was that way. Obviously, like athletes, Sienna's a decent school, so like we love our athletes. But
What school is that? What school do you go to?
Siena College in Albany.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar. It's got like, are, let me guess the. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty good at knowing mascots, but I don't know that one. I've heard of the school.
Yeah, so we're the Saints, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't know, like, I didn't think I had that privilege. I was like, I'm not, like, known well enough on campus. And so one of my best friends, she's a model, and
Mm,
she's friends with everybody. She just talks to everyone. She knows everyone. But
hmm.
she's like, we're just gonna walk into this house. And I don't know how to do that. Like, and we just walked in.
Mm.
We can. So I don't know if I could get away with that everywhere, but some places I can, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, you got some notoriety. You got some clout, as we were saying, man. You got to take advantage of it, bro.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, man, as an older guy, as someone older, enjoy it while you have it, man. I know people say that. I know it's cliche from older people, but it's true, man. Because it goes like this. I know you get tired of hearing it, but it's true.
Oh, I'm a senior now, and I can't even like. It's too fast. Like I feel like I'm running out of time quick. It's crazy. It's spooky to think like I gotta like
Yeah,
find a place to live, find a job, find things. I don't.
bro, you got no clue. Wait until you're near 30, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But it's hey, talk about your newest song.
My newest song is called "Different Kind of Girl." I wrote it last semester. I was kind of just hanging out. I found this like little retro beat. I was like, "Oh, this is super cool." I really like Carly Rae Jepsen. I loved her.
Hmm.
I was a huge fan, and it gave me those kind of vibes. And I wanted to write about like the simplicity of finding a relationship when it's your first one, when you're in like
Right.
high school, whatever, and you don't. There's no pressure because you haven't been in another relationship. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. You're just kind of going with the flow. And
Hmm.
the whole vibe for it. I laid down. So I wrote the song. I laid down to take a nap, and then
Right.
sleep because I was really excited that I wrote the song. So I called up the owner of the WVCRs, Sienna's radio, also like one of the region radios. And I was like, yo, man, like, what are you doing right now? Because I'm do something with it. And it ended up turning into this huge performance that we had at the end of the year. I could like release the song the day of and we could talk about it. I did a shoot and everything. Absolutely some of the most fun I've had with a release of a song.
Yeah, man. I know you talked about it a little bit, but before we wrap up here, do you got any other advice for new artists?
Other advice for new artists. Don't take everything too seriously. Don't be a perfectionist so hard that you're not releasing anything. And recently, this is what I've been going through, is where I can listen to a song 100 times and it's different every time, and there's something I want to change, and and I could send it to my engineers and my friends, and they're like, Evan, this is dope. Like, you just got to put it out. Just like music should be fun, right? So just make sure you're having fun with it along.
Yeah, you going to release an EP this next year, or talk about the future?
So I'm looking to release a project, and originally I was going to call it Blusty and Friends.
That's good. I like that.
It was just going to be me, and it was going to feature like tons of people, right? It was just going to be all the people I know.
Features, right?
And then my mom, of all people, like, yo, there's this really good album that was released like a while ago in the early 2000s. It's a similar name. It's called Barney and Friends. And
that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
so I can't call it that anymore. I totally have to come up with a new name. But that's on the way. I've got songs with, I have the list. There's like 21 that I want to put on it, and I'll shout out some like names from Syracuse and things. So like Big Nate.
Yeah, man. Hey, the platform is yours. I got listeners, in most of the states, but I have a decent New York.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I want to put like Big Nate on it. There's this artist called Freestyle. Carlin Feck, G Rhodes. I mean, the list. There's people from San Francisco. There's people from Syracuse. So I got it all. I'm really excited for it.
All right, man. Well, where can people look you up, man?
I always tell people Spotify. Spotify's best. Apple Music, obviously, same thing. And then Instagram. I started making some videos on YouTube as well. So the whole thing. Anywhere you want to look, I'm there.
Social media handles?
Blusty Official, BLUSTY Official. That's it for everything. I mean, TikTok's like Blusty Music, I think. But if you do Blusty, you'll find me. If you search Blusty, sometimes Google thinks searching Busty and it gives you some weird results. Right.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
And yeah, man, I'll tag you and everything when this when the audio releases. All right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Have a good rest of your weekend. All right.
Yeah. Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right. There you go. Another On the Come Up interview in the books. Once again, I would like to thank Blusty for coming on the podcast today. Check us out on Twitter at Cynical Sensibly, Instagram, Sensibly Cynical Pod, and you can check out our Facebook page. We are available wherever you get your podcasts, so please subscribe. Coming up next on the podcast is my interview with American Idol alum Kate Watson. She is an amazing artist out of the Lone Star State, Texas, of course. Be on the lookout for that. But until then, please stay safe and take care.